Alright guys, so for this week's lesson we're going to be talking about the live paint feature in Illustrator. What I've done is I've done a Google search for geometric mandalas coloring pages. So you guys might be interested or be familiar with the adult coloring books. So essentially you could use this feature when creating something like those. So I found a nice image that I'd like to bring in. So I'm going to drag and drop that into Adobe Illustrator. This is a large file, so I'm not going to make my artboard bigger. I'm going to make this image the size of my artboard. 8.5 by 11 is where it currently is at. Because essentially you guys could take all your images and create an adult coloring book for yourself. All right, so I'm going to take this. This was a JPEG, so I cannot edit these yet until I live trace. So if I go up to Window, Image Trace, I can preview. Yes, it's a big file, we know. I can preview what it's going to look like. And that looks nice. You didn't necessarily see it, but I did. It looks nice. So I'm just going to trace this image. Now it's done. The image is done tracing. And then I'm just going to go up here and click expand. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to delete all the interior colors. So I'm just going to delete the outer color and this information. So now I have an editable object. So if I take my magic wand tool and I select all the white, I can isolate, make sure that all those colors are isolated. You can see that I've got the black key image and then the white inner image. That's exactly what we want, because now we can use the live paint tool. All right, we can choose a live paint tool to now color this object in any colors we want. Right now, you can see on my cursor, the only color I have selected is white. So if I go to swatches, I can go, whoops, we don't want to do that. I can go down here and go into different color groups. Nope, we don't want to add a new color group. We're going to go to swatch library menu and we're going to go to color palettes. Celebration, let's do a nice, fun, celebratory color palette. So I'm going to get some colors that are in now. So now you'll see that I have more colors in my palette. So I can go between each of those colors by pressing my left and right keys. All right. So I'm going to start with purple, and I can go in, and now you can see that my cursor, there's an arrow pointing. I can go into each of these objects, make sure my whole thing is selected. Beautiful. I can go into each of these objects and it will color each of those sections for me. And what's nice about the live paint tool, it will highlight the selection that you're coloring. So I can go in and color all of certain areas a certain color based on my idea of the design that I want. This is just a fun little tool. You can. This is a stress relieving thing too. If you guys can create these on your own, I know my parents and everybody I know that aren't artists like I am like to use the adult coloring books for their to stress relief. I think this is kind of a cool feature. So if I keep just doing this, selecting these different colors, I can find and start doing some coloring of my own and getting creative with how I want to do it. All right, this is a cool feature. It's relatively easy to learn, easy to use, and then we can start creating our own adult coloring books. That's a cool project I think we should do. And I'm going to finish this up here. Let's get back to the coloring. Let's get us some yellows. I want a yellow. That's not a yellow. This isn't a celebratory color. I'm going to go left. Here we go. We'll start with some greens maybe. All right, let's just see about adding some more color in these areas. Mandalas are nice shapes too because they're geometric, so it works in a bunch of different ways. Let's go and maybe select yellow. I want to do some yellows. Yellows look good with purple because they're complements on the color wheel. Whoops. Oh, that might have been nice too. You can see that now my key image is yellow, but I don't like that. was trying to color this image. All right. So what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to find, let's do mandala. Find a nice mandala online, a large one, and bring it in, and just test out this live paint tool, and then figure out what are some ways that you could use it in different. This is an easy way to color some objects. I know there's different ways in using Photoshop, but we could take each of this and then select these, but that takes a lot of work by using the direct selection tool and changing those colors like that. If I use the direct selection tool, the live paint feature is something that I can do with one click and create some pretty interesting things. So let's go like another 30 seconds of me live painting. That's fun to say. All right, let's select a different color. We'll get some blues in there. All right. Let's make that guy blue, that guy blue. It's nice because it's a live feature. I can see it live as I go, whereas the direct selection tool, I have to select the ones and then click the color I want to use. All right, but it's nice being able, whoops, that's not what I wanted. There we go. It's nice being able to click, kind of like using the paint bucket in Photoshop. I can click the areas that I want to color in. All right, a couple more. All right, so I want you guys to find an image, like a geometric mandala or an image similar to this one, and I want you guys to experiment with the live paint tool. And then ask me or ask your friends, what are other ways that I could use this live paint tool? This, along with image trace, we can quickly create some pretty dynamic designs. All right, guys, good luck.